with some breaking news. Welcome in, welcome back. If you've been with us so far this morning, go ahead and give me the breaking news sounder.
Breaking Vols news on 104.5 The Zone.
Tennessee Volunteers have just gotten a program-changing commitment for their 2023 recruiting class. Nico Iamaleava.
Good for you.
Listen, I'm capable. I am capable. Nico Iamaleava, who was in Knoxville for what? I mean, he was in Knoxville for a couple of days. He was in a basketball game. His whole family was with him. He has just committed to the University of Tennessee. This is huge, kids. This is a situation. So how many quarterbacks are currently on the roster right now? Joe Milton is still there. Hendon Hooker is still there. You now have Trace Jackson Davis's brother.
Taven Jackson.
Yeah,
the four-star prospect will be on campus this year.
Who is a true freshman this year. Now you have a five-star prospect, a program changer at the quarterback position in Iamaleava, it was between Tennessee and Oregon, it looks like, based off of what most national recruiting places had him projected for.
He put out a graphic a few days ago, a top five basically, with Tennessee and Oregon included, Alabama and Georgia in there as well. But the thought is Alabama and Georgia look at Arch Manning as their top priority when it comes to the quarterback in the 2023 class. So essentially, I think a lot of people believe that's why people believed it was down to Tennessee and Oregon.
So you've got Alex Golish as the offensive coordinator, and I always botch Joey's last name. What is Joey's last name?
Halsey.
It does not look like Halsey. Anyway, those were the two assistant coaches for UT responsible for recruiting young Nico, and he goes to a situation where it's the least backloaded quarterback position of his top five, right? UT with 3 quarterbacks currently on the roster. If you look at Oregon, they've got 5. Alabama has 7. It's so obscene. 7 quarterbacks, 6 guys sitting behind Bryce Young, who could probably start at any program in the country if they wanted to. And then you have Miami, who has 6 quarterbacks on their roster, 4 for Georgia at this point. So Iamaleava comes in to UT. I don't know that he's going to unseat Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker is going to be the starter until such time as he's beaten out for that job. But what we have seen with Josh Heupel is that the talent is enough to, get him to have a little bit of a wandering eye, shall we say, at the quarterback position. That's how Joe Milton ended up being your starter in the first place. So this is massive news. I mean, the impact of this, Lucas, like when you saw this, you immediately, I saw papers fly into the air in the production studio back there. You came scrambling to the microphone with breaking news. How does this hit you as a Vols fan?
Well, it's huge. I mean, it's going to be probably the biggest quarterback prospect if he does sign with Tennessee. We're sitting here in March, right?
Sure.
He's in the class of 2023. So we've seen this movie before. But if he does indeed sign with Tennessee, then he's arguably the biggest quarterback prospect to ever sign with Tennessee. That program's not exactly known for bringing in 5-star quarterbacks. Casey Clausen really is the only example since modern-day recruiting rankings. Obviously, you had Peyton Manning in the early 90s.
Wait, what was Harrison Bailey?
Harrison Bailey, it was a 4-star prospect, maybe a 5-star in a couple recruiting services, but certainly not a blue-chip 5-star in the manner of Nico Iamaleava.
And Brandon Rushing brings up a good reminder. It is the class of 23, so right. Hendon Hooker will be gone.
He will not be competing with Hendon Hooker.
Right.
No, it'll be essentially a battle between he and Taven Jackson for that starting job.
So I misspoke on that account. But still, this is where you want to see them. This is where you want to see them trending in the right direction. This is a huge acquisition for Tennessee, even if he has not signed pen to paper just yet. This will generate momentum as far as other recruits are concerned because you have a quarterback piece largely in place, if not fully committed to the university. And, we will see how things play out in the coming months, but this is substantial for them to have. 615-737-1045 if you want to react to any of that.
Biggest thing I'm looking forward to seeing is how much of this has to do with an NIL deal with the NIL collective in Knoxville. I imagine that's a really big part of this, and that'll be the first time that we see something like that aid Tennessee in getting a top 10, top 5 prospect.
What's the name of it? It's Spire Sports, right?
That's right, yes.
I would like to speak to somebody from Spire Sports because they're based out of Knoxville.
So that's the next thing here is I want to see when details of something with that deal comes out, because that is almost certainly a huge factor in this. I mean, it's going to be from here on out when it comes to big-time recruiting prospects. Like it can't be left out of the conversation anymore.
Yeah, I'm looking at Spire Sports' main page right now. We'll write them a message. Or if anybody in the listening audience has any connections to people in Knoxville at Spire Sports, tell them we would love to have the opportunity to chat with them about what they're doing with the University of Tennessee and if this has any kind of bearing on what it is that they do. Because I would imagine if it doesn't, they are well in the works of trying to make sure that it damn well does.
First 5-star of the Josh Heupel era.
This is a big deal. Somebody says in the YouTube chat, yeah, he's rich now.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, well.
Or he will be.
He will very, very soon be, and they will make him richer if he agrees to stay at the University of Tennessee. This is why I love, because now call it what it is. Make it a bidding war for the top prospects. I want the NFL to be like this. I would love to see Jerry Jones and Daniel Snyder getting in a bidding war for the top quarterback of free agency, just throwing millions upon millions of dollars at people. That's how this should be done.
Tennessee fans need to be thanking Arch Manning for existing right now.
Why? Because everybody wants Arch?
Yes. Because Alabama and Georgia want Archie Manning. They'd love to have Nico Iamaleava, but they want Archie Manning.
But they're thirsty for – they have Lane Kiffin having the weekend that Arch Manning made his visit to Ole Miss, having it say Manning in the end zone is one of the most nefarious recruiting things I've ever seen in my life, and it's genius.
Also, my buddy Jay texts in reminding us that he is rich right now because California does allow its high school student athletes to get paid. So,
very good.
Doing quite well. But yes, the Mannings saved Tennessee again.
Except when they show up at big games. Don't do that. They're
don't do that. Was Peyton in the building in Indianapolis on Saturday?
They're like a black cat. Oh my God, we got to talk about Tennessee